Hi, it's your girl Ina here today. It's a special occasion here in my house because it's my wedding anniversary. Cheers, having a little bit of bubbly. And yes, I am here by myself because Bettina went to go work a little bit, but we had a nice barbecue outside. We're gonna have a nice dinner tonight. Weird thing about having an anniversary during lockdown, because we're still in lockdown, is just like Valentine's Day. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't go out to dinner. You can't go buy anything. Not that we buy big things for each other anyway for stuff like this. But so it was funny this morning. Both of us had the same idea to decorate the table. So I bought like I had to go shopping at the grocery store. So I bought daffodils, and I bought her a 6-pack of beer, and some peanuts, and some potato chips, and she got me these tulips, and then some bubble bath, and some massage oil, and a chocolate Easter bunny. And it's February, but I got a chocolate Easter bunny with something inside. Anyway, so today's our anniversary, and I just wanted to do a quick video. I don't know how quick it's going to be because it's kind of a long story, about our wedding and how we had the fire department show up at our reception because we almost burnt the place down. So, first of all, so Bettina and I were married in 2007, and technically it was, at this point, it was a civil partnership. Now in Switzerland it's a legal marriage. It's different now, but back then, the first step, it was a civil partnership. So Bettina and I knew each other since, I don't know, 2001, 2002. We got together in 2005, and in 2005 they passed, by a popular vote, Switzerland, 59%, it passed to allow same-sex civil partnerships. So that was 2005, and like a couple weeks after they passed it, Bettina proposed to me, and I think we've been dating for less than a month. It was like, bam. So we were like, oh, okay, so we got engaged really quick. But then we thought we'd just be able to go right away and get married, which wasn't the case. We had to wait until 2007. So it passed in 2005, but we weren't allowed to do it until 2007. So we had some time to wait. But then, 2007 started to get close. So it's like late in 2006. So we're trying to, we wanted to have a reception. We had people come from all over the world. We had people from, all over, well, not all over the world. So Europe and the States. Flying in, so we had to get some stuff coordinated between hotels and reception and things like this because we were having a lot of people come in. But because it wasn't actually legal till 2007, we couldn't book the actual wedding, like the actual ceremony. And then it was one of these things, like they couldn't even do it in advance. Like in 2006, we knew we were going to do it, but they couldn't book us a date until 2007. So we had to wait for the offices to open up in 2007. So maybe it was like January 4th or something, whenever it opened up after New Year, before we could even go there and start talking to them. So we had to actually book the reception and all that stuff ahead of time and just hope that we were going to get the date was on a Friday. Hope we were going to get the Friday. In case you're wondering why someone would get married at the end of February, it was like the first school break that we had after 2007 started. So it was like the first kind of break I had from school because I was teaching at that time, that we could book it then. So we had everything booked, and luckily we ended up getting the Friday, a late ceremony on the Friday, so that we could have the ceremony and then go to the reception. So it all worked out just fine. So that was that part of that thing. So I have the ceremony, and we didn't know this beforehand, but we found out like within a couple days before our ceremony that we were the first same-sex couple in Basel to go through the ceremony. Like, we didn't know we were like making history and everything. It wasn't really that big of a deal actually, but for us it was a big deal because we were the first ones ever to do it. So they had to like rewrite the like little marriage script thing and everything to accommodate us, because it didn't say like bride and groom and him and her, he and she. It was she and she. It was, anyway. So we did that. Now the first little funny about that little situation was, so after the ceremony, we had these big bouquets of heart-shaped helium-filled balloons. And we marched from this is in Old Town, Basel. We marched from like Old Town through kind of the old part of the city, and there's this huge church. If you Google pictures of Basel, there's this huge brown church with the big tower things on it, right next to the Rhine, and every postcard and every picture of Basel, you see this church. So we walked there. It was on our way to the little restaurant we were going to stop directly after the ceremony. And there's this big open sort of I don't even know what you call it, big open space right overlooking the Rhine, overlooking the city of Basel, right behind this huge church. So we were like, okay, well, let's go there for like a little photo op. So us and the whole wedding, everyone that went to the actual wedding ceremony, which was smaller than the reception, came out there, and we stood there. We said, okay, we have to make a statement, because this is really historic, because we were the first ones in the city of Basel that actually could go through this process. So I said it first in English, and I said, you know, we want to dedicate that, you know, we don't just take this lightly. It was very emotional actually, I'm getting emotional now thinking about it. We don't take this lightly. There were people that lost their lives fighting for this cause. There were people, you know, that lost their lives to homophobia, that lost jobs, and went through so much crap. And now here we are, we get to benefit from their fight. And those people never got to have the right that we had, that what we could do that day. So I made this big speech about it, and everyone was crying. And I said, you know, we dedicate this to those people who fought, gay and straight, who fought that we could have this right. And everyone, not a dry eye in the house. Bettina gave the same speech, repeated what I said in German. So we gave it because a lot of people were there just spoke English, a lot just spoke German. So we did the speech in both languages, and then we said, and you know, we dedicate this to you. And we released these huge bouquets of heart-shaped balloons at the same time, and out of nowhere comes a gust of wind, and there was only one tree on the whole bloody thing, one tree as far as you could see, one tree. We released the balloons, the wind comes, it blows both these huge bouquets of these big heart-shaped balloons, blows them right into the tree. So we made this big speech, everybody's crying, we released the balloons, and everyone's like, oh, because we're right in the tree, both bouquets of balloons tangled up in a tree, nothing we could do about it. And it was like, man, oh man. And it was funny, my friend Sharon, who was one of my bridesmaids, we didn't really have bridesmaids because the ceremonies are different here, but she was honorary bridesmaid. She said, yeah, it just shows you like the gay rights have gotten this far, but they still have a long way to go. So she made it kind of symbolic and made it kind of easier to deal with that we just released these balloons into a tree. Anyway, so then after that, we go to the reception, and you know, I was never that girl, believe it or not, with my green Kids Camp t-shirt on, never that girl who dreamed of a white wedding dress and the veil and all that stuff. I didn't want to carry flowers, and like it was never anything that what I had dreamed about always my whole life was being walked down the aisle by my dad, and like the father-daughter dance, things like that I always dreamed about, which I actually didn't get because my parents didn't come to my wedding. But my brother gave me away. He was here, and he danced with me like the first father-daughter dance, whatever. I danced with my brother, so that was nice. But I never dreamed of like what flowers were going to be on the table. I did not care. So my mother-in-law is like, well, I have some ideas. I'm like, if you want to do it and you want to organize it, go for it. Whatever you want is fine with me. I don't care the colors. I don't care anything. Just get what you want. So my mother-in-law organized all the beautiful flower arrangements on all the tables. It was great because I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to do anything. Perfect. Well, she also said, well, you know, what do you want to do for a wedding cake? And I was like, I also don't care. Like, I really, honest to God, did not care what wedding cake I had, if I even had a wedding cake. I just wanted a topper. Here's a topper. I went and found it for this video. So this is me, and this is Bettina. Well, I had short hair when we were getting married, or I still have short hair, I guess. And Bettina had really long curly hair, and like 2 days before the wedding, she chopped it off and dyed it orange. So it didn't really match cake topper, but that's our cake topper. I'm like, I've got the cake topper. I don't care about the cake. So my mother's like, if you don't care, then I'll order it and I'll just get something. I'm like, whatever you want. So she ordered this gorgeous cake, but we hadn't seen the cake until the wedding reception. It was tucked away somewhere in the back, whatever. So at a certain point in the wedding reception, all the lights go out. They sit us down. All the lights go out. And they wheel out this beautiful 3-tiered cake, but it was kind of like on this kind of stand thing. So it wasn't like stacked on each other. It was like 3 different tiers, but they were kind of like off-center, kind of like not on top of each other like a typical American style wedding cake. They were kind of, it was really cute with this on the top. But what they had done to make it dramatic or extra dramatic, they put sparkle, is that what they're called? Sparklers? What are those things the kids play with on 4th of July? Sparklers, right? What the hell are they called? Sparklers. Anyway, they filled this cake up with these sparklers. So when they turned the lights out and wheeled this cake, it was like this big moment to reveal the cake because we hadn't even seen the cake yet. and wheel this cake out with these sparklers on it. And it was really, I mean, it was really beautiful because I never expected to have sparklers on a wedding cake, and I hadn't seen the wedding cakes. It was really kind of like a moment for us to see the wedding cake. And everyone was like, ah. Well, what we didn't know was that the sparklers set off the fire alarm. And there wasn't an alarm in the place that was like beep, 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 beep. It just like the smoke went in and it automatically dispatched the fire company. So we're there at the reception, not knowing that the fire alarm was going off, not knowing the fire department was on its way. And then the fire trucks pull up outside of the reception. They come running in with like literally full fireman gear, helmets, hatchets, like oxygen tanks, through the wedding reception, like running to look for this fire. Sorry, my window's open and people are looking at my window. Anyway, run through the wedding reception. We're like, what's going on? And they're like, literally, like, where's the fire? Like, they were like, where's the fire? So it turns out that the wedding cake set off the fire alarms, which called the fire department, and the fire department comes in, which of course all my friends promptly took the coats off of the firemen and did a striptease. But anyway, that was how we almost burned down the wedding reception. Anyway, so here we are on our wedding day. Nothing really big planned because, like I said, the restaurant, anything romantic that you could think to do, we've probably already done after all these years. But yeah, so we had a barbecue for lunch today. We're gonna drink some champagne whenever she gets back home. Yeah, so we were the first same-sex couple in Basel, isn't that something? And we're gonna have a nice dinner tonight, and that's the story. Hope you enjoyed it. Here's our old cake topper. And have a great day. Ciao.